It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS AM 1160 and 101.1 FM, in our conversation with Aaron Lehman, brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. We had been talking about getting Aaron and others on the air to talk about Family Promise, and we will touch upon Family Promise and how they are helping families right now, but it's a bigger issue than that. Aaron, good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure to have you on the air with us here today, talking about, this situation that we find ourselves in. We were talking earlier this morning about the fact that this is being called America's make or break week because the bills are coming due at the end of the month for families and for bill payers and for companies. It's such a financial upheaval, and there are people who are going to find themselves in some real deep financial trouble here, aren't there?
Yes, there are. And that's one of the things we're afraid of.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about that a little bit. And you called it situational poverty. Explain that.
Okay. So situational poverty is when you've had a job, you've had money coming in. All of a sudden, this is one example. All of a sudden, you don't have any more money coming in, and you can't pay your rent, you can't pay your mortgage, so you're homeless. Boom!
It just hits you.
Yeah, and a lot of people in situational poverty have no idea the resources, how to get the resources to, like, for example, like if you have to get on food stamps, if you have to get on Medicaid, if you need to get, assistance, that type of thing. Yeah. So what we do at Family Promise is we can help with that situation. Also, of course, housing the families that didn't really, never thought they would be homeless, but they are. I mean, a lot of people in the area are living paycheck to paycheck. So if they don't get one paycheck or two paychecks, they can't pay rent, mortgage, and they might be homeless.
And it's compounded by the fact that so many others are in that very same boat, and just as suddenly.
Yes, exactly. And it's just something that could happen to a lot of people all at once.
So how does Family Promise help?
So what we would do is if you're homeless, we bring you into the program. We give you a place to stay. We, teach people, and this would be in generational poverty with people having families, and that's all they've kind of known. We teach them fiscal responsibility. We teach them how to, live life, let's say, and then they go out into the real world, into the world, and they have jobs and everything else. Well, with situational poverty, what happens is the families are coming in. They may not know anything about, being homeless, of course, because they never have been. They get into the program, and we give them places to stay, teach them how to get the different things that they would need. And then after they understand that and everything else, I mean, they may be able to qualify for Section 8 housing. Well, how do you do that? Mm-hmm. Well, we can help them with that. So what we try to do is get people into the program, teach them what they need to do, whether it's fiscal responsibility or somebody that's never had Section 8 housing, how to get Section 8 housing, and then, help them that way.
Every year, it seems, or every day, it seems, we find situations that we hadn't considered before. And you just pointed one out, that there are people that have the same set of circumstances in that they have, because of financial difficulties, found themselves without a home or without other resources. But you're right. They do have different circumstances in that the difference you just mentioned, generational poverty, in that they've been in the system, they know how the system works, and they need help based upon that framework, as opposed to those in the situational poverty where it's all new to them, and they really have no experience and no idea where to go.
Exactly. And we definitely want to make sure we're around to help people that are in both situations.
Yeah. All right. So in order to take advantage of what Family Promise has to offer, and in order to become a whole part of this system, what do folks need to do?
Well, they can always go on our website, which is Indiana, Family Promise of Indiana County.com. They can also call the Day Center and talk to Carol, our executive director. Mm-hmm. Even if they need, the other thing that we do have at our Day Center is we have a store, and I think the store hours are on as a point. You have to call in because of the coronavirus. So, and it may be closed, but if there's something that somebody needs, we may be able to help them with that. and just kind of give information or help them so they can get so they can kind of survive this situation that they're in.
Is there a way to measure just how badly this has impacted our community? In other words, is there a quantifiable way to look at this problem and how it is expanding, or is it anecdotal?
You know what? I am not sure of. That's something that Carol would probably know more about. Mm-hmm. And I definitely want to have Carol come and talk on the radio. So that I don't know. I mean, I just know that, right now, I think Indiana County is the second most impoverished county in Pennsylvania. So it's going to happen really quickly here because people just don't have the extra money.
And that is.
So I don't know what the numbers are, but I know it's going to happen pretty quickly if it does.
It's a pretty startling statistic you just tossed out there. Indiana County is the second most impoverished county among the 67 counties in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, last time I checked, we were. And that's a little worrisome.
Yeah, you bet it is. My goodness gracious. It also points out the fact that even in good times, some families are struggling around here in Indiana County, maybe even more so than other parts of the state.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, now I don't know if that number takes into account IUP or, I don't know if it takes into account that type of thing. But the bottom line is, a lot of people are just, at that one paycheck away.
Yeah.
And that's what we're really worried about.
We're talking with Aaron Lehman. Family Promise. Explain what it is to folks who might not know.
Okay, so what Family Promise is, we're a nonprofit. We're not funded by the government. And what we do is we take families that are homeless and we give them a place to stay. And we teach them fiscal responsibility, or if somebody is in situational poverty, of course, we take them in and explain to them the different, what they can get, what the different benefits are. And then when they graduate from the program, they have houses, cars, and jobs. So what I tell people is I'm like, we're taking people in the generational poverty. We're taking people that are in using food stamps, using Medicaid, that type of thing. We're taking them off of that program. We're getting them into our program, teaching them how to live life. And then when they graduate, like I said, they have jobs, cars, and houses. So if you think about it in a business point of view, we're decreasing expenses for the federal and state government, and we're increasing income for the federal and state government because we're taking away the food stamps and Medicaid, and we're increasing it by, people paying taxes now.
And that is what Family Promise is. Who is Family Promise, though? Is it church-based? Is it some other organizationally based?
Yeah, no, Family Promise is church-based. It's interfaith, so we have all different faiths in it. And what happens is the churches who are phenomenal. So there's a host congregation and support congregation. The host congregation will host the families when they're not at the day center. And the host and the support congregations will help the host churches prepare food, sit down, have fellowship with the families in the program, and that type of thing. The churches are phenomenal. I mean, I can't say enough about the churches that are helping us. We're always looking for more churches, of course, because then we would have more places for families to go when they're not at the day center. So we are definitely interfaith, and the churches have been phenomenal in this area.
Yeah, they really have. This program has been going for quite some time now. I don't know if you would use the word flourishing, but it sure seems like the program has been flourishing because of so much dedicated effort by so many different people in churches. And families actually do stay at the churches when they don't have another place. Yes,
they do.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I mean, the churches enjoy it because what they're doing is they're doing a mission, but the mission that they're doing really isn't that costly. Like, you're not going down to different countries or that type of thing. You're basically, just hosting the families, or if you're not hosting them, then you're supporting them, which means like you might make a meal. One person makes a meal every day for a week.
Yeah.
So it's a really inexpensive way to have your church do a mission. And it helps the area. Now, the other thing is all the donations, and that is something else that, of course, we always have to talk about with a nonprofit,
sure.
Stays in Indiana County. Yeah. The only thing that goes out of Indiana County is our small affiliate fee, so we can use the name Family Promise. But everything else stays in Indiana County. The families we support have to be in Indiana County.
And that
So we're truly Indiana County Family Promise.
Yeah, and it raises a really good point, and that is the fact that even if your church as a body is not participating in Family Promise, you can, as an individual, support Family Promise with the gift of a donation.
Yes, most definitely.
How do we do that?
Go ahead.
How do we do that?
What you do is you can either go to our website, and there's a big donate tab, the first thing out there. Mm-hmm. You can hit that. You can also mail a check if you wanted to do that. The best thing that, I've thought about is, we talk about our families. A lot of families in generational poverty are thinking, okay, I'm going to get my tax return, and now I'm going to pay all this, all my debt and everything else, instead of thinking about it as a monthly basis. Well, the thing about Family Promise is I've been trying to figure out how we can get money in a month. So let's say we have $3,000 to $3,500 coming in every month. That would cover our bills, which means that now we don't have to worry about the bills. Now we have to worry about other things. And we need, so when you have our big fundraisers, they can be used the money can be used for different things as opposed to everyday expenses. So what I'm trying to do, and I'm board president until December. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make it so we can have enough money to be sustainable. So then when I leave, the next thing we want to do is, of course, get more churches, and then, we'll definitely be in a good situation.
There you go. All right, Aaron Lehman. Anything else folks need to know about Family Promise and this particular time, day, and age in which we find ourselves?
Well, the biggest thing is we have to be here because, ICAP is here. They're doing a phenomenal job, but there really aren't a lot of places. There's a Pathways shelter, but there really aren't a lot of places for homeless families. So we have to be around in order to help homeless families, whether they're in generational poverty or situational poverty. And, that's what we want to do. That's what our mission is. And, hopefully we can make it so, we still are able to function and able to help families, especially at this time when the coronavirus is going around and, who knows if somebody's going to be homeless that, has never been that way.
Yeah. So much uncertainty. Aaron, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Hey, thank you.
We'll talk to you again.
Be safe. Take care.
Bye now.
Okay, bye.
There's Aaron Lehman.
Okay, bye.
There's Aaron Lehman.